Hello, friends. How are you guys doing? I hope you are great. I'm great. I'm great. We are still in lockdown in South Africa, where the government has advised us to stay at home. So I hope you guys are still staying at home and keeping it safe. But I just thought I should shoot this video to just share something quite interesting and quite wonderful that you guys are actually going to enjoy and quite going to love. So on LinkedIn yesterday, just before we start, on LinkedIn, I shared a post where I say, um, I just came here to say, lockdown or no lockdown, we are still chasing our dreams. What we can't afford to do in the next 21 days is to focus on, is to shift our focus on what we had set out to do. So we need to stick to the plan in terms of what we had set out to do this year. And I had said we knew when we made those plans that it wasn't going to be easy, it was going to be hard. When we prayed for these plans, we knew then that it was going to be hard. So we just need to keep the fire burning. We just need to keep on hustling and keep on pushing. And what stands between us, basically, what stands between us and our dreams is the is our mindset. So we need to shift our mindset to continuously think positively, to continuously think that we can actually do it, that we are on top of our game in terms of what we had set out to do early this year when we made our New Year resolution, 2020 New Year resolutions. We said we were going to do one, two, three. It's time to actually get it done. It's time to continue, even though we are encountering all the economic turmoils, the challenges with the economy and all of that. We need to continuously chase our dreams. So winners win in the midst of chaos. So we are all winners, and we are going to definitely continuously do what we need to do best, and we are going to continuously win. That's what I wanted to start with. But basically, the reason for this video is because I want to share at least five um, real estate opportunities that exist in the townships. So I'm going to share with you five real estate opportunities that exist in the township economy, because as you know, there are opportunities everywhere. We are playing in the in the township economic space. So I have five real estate opportunities that exist in the township. Now we're gonna get onto it. So these are the five before we explain them further, right? So in the township, there are at least the five that I'm going to share today. It's something that you can look at, something you can tap into, something you can begin to invest in, to start investigating in terms of what you have passion for, in terms of where your appetite lies and all of that. So the first one, right? Residential. So I'm gonna just write it here for everyone to see. I'm sitting in my office. I just decided, you know what, let me just shoot this video and ensure that I educate somebody. So I'm sitting in my office. I'm just gonna write on this piece of paper that I've pasted on the wall next to my computers in the office. So the first one, right? The first real estate opportunity that exists in the township is residential. The residential space. The second one is commercial. Right? And then the third one is the property and management, basically. Property management, this includes selling of properties that is being done by real estate agents, right? So this one is selling a property management. So it's the management, right? And then we have another opportunity that exists in the township, and this is the flipping. So flipping, we're gonna explain it further, but flipping of properties, we're gonna explain it further. And then the last one that I wanna share with you that exists in the townships, that is the construction. So right. So these are the 5 opportunities that exist in the township that anybody between me and you, we can tap into and take advantage of. So now let's unpack the 5 real estate opportunities that I think exist in the township. And I know as a fact, because I'm playing in this space as well, in terms of what are the entry points, how do you get in, and what do you need to do, and all of that and all of that. So after 12 properties is obviously involved in the real estate space in the township, in which we are playing in 2 things among the ones that I've just mentioned now. So we are playing on the first one, the residential the residential space, and we are also playing in the construction space. So there is enough room for anybody to choose between the 5, right? So let's begin with the first one, the residential. So what are the opportunities that exist in the township in the residential space, right? So the first one is my favorite, the backroom industry. So the backroom industry is a 10 billion rand industry where people who have enough space in their yard, they build rental rooms and rent them out to people. And they're able to take their children to school. They're able to do basically to cover their expenses on a monthly basis using the rental income they get from the back rooms, right? So how do you get into this backroom industry? So if you have a house that exists, right, and in the house, say it's an RDP house, it's a bond, just a house, a property where you live as the investor. I'll call you that. So the house exists. So what you do is you look for a space within the yard and you build rental units. You can build anything from 2 to 8 rental units in your yard. So that's how you get started. You find if you can qualify for a loan from the bank, or you can source money from relatives or whoever, wherever you can get money, and you take that money and you build rental units at the back of your house. If it's the front, wherever there is space to build the rental units, you build the rental units there. So if you do not have a property that exists at the moment, or your parents' house also doesn't have enough space for you to build rental units there, you can then apply for a bond. You take up a bond with the strategy of building rental units inside the yard of the bond that you're taking. So while you go out with your real estate agents looking for a house, you are looking for a house that has enough space for you to build rental units, because that is your strategy in the real estate space, right? So you are going to go out there, get a house, a bond, where you can be able to build the rental unit. So when you go to view that house, what you are looking for is a yard that is big enough for you to build rental units. And you do the calculations, you check how many square meters of rental units you'll be able to build, and how many rental units you'll be able to build. Calculate the amount of money you'll be needing to pay back to the bond, to the bank that has loaned you the money, and add that amount with the amount you could get with the rental units that you will have outside the main house. And then you can rent out their main house, and also rent out the rental units after you have built. So you firstly, you check if you have a yard in your house, your existing house, if you have a house. Secondly, you buy a house, you take up a bond, and you build the rental units on the bond. You can then rent out the main house and rent out the actual rental units that you have built. Or you can live in the main house and rent out the rental units outside. The rental units will be paying for the bond, and you continuously do that. As soon as you qualify for another bond, you take up another bond with the same strategy. You take a bond where you have enough space to buy more rental units, and as soon as you are able to cover the amount of the bond using the rental units, you jump to another property. You just continuously do that and do that and do that until you are satisfied with what you are doing. Or the other opportunity in the residential space, what you can also tap into is what another company is actually doing. I won't mention the name of the company, but this is a company that has come into the real estate space in the township. What they do is that they partner with landlords. So they partner with landlords in which they go on a 90-10% basis. What they do is that they come to you, you have a house that has enough space to build rental units, but you don't have the money to build the rental units. So they come in with their financial muscle and they build the rental units in your yard. You don't pay anything. As soon as they're done building the rental units, they get tenants to come in, and then every month for 5 years. So every month for 5 years, they'll be collecting 90% of the rent from the rental units in your yard. So you will be taking home 10% every month from the rental units for a period of 5 years. After the 5 years, they leave you with the rental units and they walk away. So now you start collecting 100% of the rental units. That company is doing that. They're doing amazing in that space. That is an opportunity that anybody can tap into. There's no monopoly of who can run with an idea. If an idea is there and you have the appetite for it, you run with it. So if you are interested in that space, that's a space you can look into. If you have a house that has enough space for rental units and you'd like to get into that partnership where someone else comes and build the rental units in your yard, you can actually contact me. I'll be happily to speak to you on that regard. So that is the opportunity that exists in the residential space in the township. The other alternative is you have a house in the township, you rent it out. You rent it out, the whole house. You have an RDP, you rent it out. You have an apartment, you rent it out. You can do it yourself. You can do it through real estate agencies around the township. You can basically do anything you want to do with your property. So if you have rental units, you get people to move in and they stay there and they give you passive income. If you have a house where you are no longer staying, or you want to move back to another city, or you want to go wherever you want to go and you want to rent out the property in the township, you just rent it out. So that is the opportunity that exists in terms of commercial, in terms of residential property in the township. The second one